Welcome back. This is a video on the data displays section of your experiment investigation. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do each of your data displays to analyze and then write a conclusion about. Before you do that though, you've just written your plan and now it's time to run the experiment. And you've got to record your results and it can be in anything. It can be Google Sheets written down. It can be another form of spreadsheet that you do it in. But here's some experiments that you can do so that you can analyze them. We've got the strip test, so I've got a video in this playlist next to show you what that's about. You can compare the heart rates of participants at rest and after exercise. That's what my example is going to be about. Or you can compare dominant versus non-dominant hand and how long it takes people to do things. Or a bunch of other things. You just need to compare your treatment with your control and measure your response variable and see what happens. Once you've done that, you record your data in a table. You've then got to display your data in ways that can be analysed and used to write the conclusion. So we're going to use 4 displays. We're going to use the table itself, an arrow diagram, a box and whisker plot, box and whisker graph, and a dot plot. So this is how you do that. So you've done your experiment. You've recorded the participants down here in this column, and then you've got your heart rate, which is your response variable in your control, which is in this case when they're just sitting down. And then you've got a column for the heart rate after exercising, which was your treatment. So you go control in this column and treatment in each one. I do it like this every time just to make it easier. And then you can see that how many beats per minute they had in each of those columns. So now we want to find the difference between those to find out if there was a difference between the treatment and the control. So you do a next column, column D, and you type in difference, and then we're going to work out the difference. Really easy way to do that. Just go equals, click this cell, and subtract this cell. And that's going to take your heart rate for your participant 1 in a treatment group, in the treatment, and subtract the heart rate for the control. And press enter. So 148 minus 64 is 84. Now this might get you to autofill the rest of this column, but if it doesn't do that, you can just take the little square and then drag it all the way down, and it will copy that formula all the way down. So each of these is your treatment minus your control for that participant. And so you got all of that down there. Your differences is done. Something I like to do for this as well is color code it so I can see the positive numbers, the negative numbers, and 0. And that is so that it makes it easier to analyze later. So what you want to do is select all of your differences. So just these numbers here. We go over to format. We go to conditional formatting, click that, and then this is going to color it based on a condition that we're going to put in. So it says format cells if, and we fill this in, we want it to be positive numbers. So I'm going to do greater than 0, because greater than 0 will give me all my positive numbers. I'm going to make that blue. Yeah, so I've now colored that blue for all the ones that are positive. And you can see the ones that are negative aren't colored in. So I'm going to add another rule, and I'm going to make it text is exactly 0. Or equal to. Either of those is fine. But text is exactly 0. That's going to give me, what color am I going to do for this one? Let's do purple. Now you can see that no purple showed up here because I don't have any zeros. I don't have any participants that had the same heart rate when they exercised as when they were at rest. So that's why there's no purple here. But we should put it in there anyway so that we know how to do that for future assignments if we do have a difference of 0. My final one is going to be less than 0 because I want my negative numbers. So format cells if it's less than 0, and you can see those two are now coloured in. I'm going to make this pink. Oh, I don't have a very obvious pink. Let's just do that one. So you can see I've got my positive numbers are blue. My zeros not filled in because I don't have any zeros, but my negative numbers are pink. So you can see that there. The next thing I've got to do is I've got to do my minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and maximum. So my minimum is going to be in the next cell after that. Then I'm going to put my lower quartile, my median, my upper quartile, and my maximum. So my minimum is the lowest number that in my difference column. So I'm going to go equals min, and then I select all of the cells that I want to find the minimum from. And that gives me minus 16. So the lowest number in the differences column was minus 16. Then I want to look at what number is quarter of the way through. So if we were to line all of these numbers up from lowest to highest, quarter of the way through is my lower quartile. So I'm going to do that by putting in the formula equals quartile. And then I want this data here, I want it to select from those there. And it's quartile number 1 because it's my first quarter. Oops, not 1, 0. Quarter 1. Okay, so quarter of the way through was the number 20. So if you line all of these up from lowest to highest, quarter of the way through, which is about 7, 8 participants in, is going to have a difference of 20. My median, I do a formula like that, and I want to select it from here. So I select that column, and I've got my median there. So your median is halfway through if you line them up from lowest to highest. So halfway through, I get the number 36. Next, I want my upper quartile. So I put in quartile again, select my data, and then I've got quartile number 3 because that's my third quarter. You've got your lowest, quarter of the way through, halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, and then you've got your maximum. So that's why it's quartile 3. And then we've got our maximum, so you can type in equals max, and then select those differences. And that's my highest number that I had. So that's the biggest difference between my treatment and my control. So there's our statistics figured out. And so now I'm going to share this. Just to anyone with a link, I guess. Copy link. And then I'm going to paste it into my report. So this is the report that I wrote in previous videos with the problem section and the plan. And now we're up to data. So I've got my table here. So I'm going to link that. There we go. So there's my exercise and heart rate table. So that takes me straight to this sheet here. So you want to put that in first, and then we're going to start making our graphs. So I go back to here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these 3 columns here, like that. So hold down participants and keep holding down until you get to the bottom of that part there, and then let go. I'm going to copy it by going Control-C, and then in NZGrapher, just type in NZGrapher into Google, it'll come up, and then just press start using NZGrapher. I go data, import from clipboard, and that's now copied my data over. So you can see I've got my participants, heart rate at rest, heart rate after exercise, and there's my treatment. Now the graphs that I want are arrow diagrams, dot plot, and box and whiskers. So this is a paired experiment dot plot. So I'm going to do that. Now I need to put my variables in. So my first variable is going to be my control, my heart rate at rest. And then the second one is going to be my heart rate after exercising, because we want to see the difference between those two. Okay, so we've got a dot plot here. I'm going to make this an arrow diagram. So I go over to here and I click arrows. And then I'm going to change my graph title. So I'm going to go heart rate at rest, heart rate after exercising compared to at rest. And update my graph. So now I've got my whole graph there, and that's ready to put into my report. So you copy by pressing 2 fingers on to this at the same time. You go and copy image, and then right click and then paste there, and that'll put it there. So that's my first one. So that's my arrow diagram. And then I want to do a box and whisker graph and dot plot. I'm going to put that underneath. So I go back into this, I untick arrows. We've got a little dot plot there, but we also want summaries, because that gives us our statistics that we're going to use, and we're going to tick high box plot as well. So there you've got the box and whisker plot, and then you've got the dot plot there. And then I press with 2 fingers again to copy image. And I go back into here and I paste it into here. And there is my graphs. I'm just going to make these a little smaller so that they all fit onto one page. It's probably not a good idea actually, because you kind of need them to be big so that you can analyze them. But yeah, that's that. That's your data done. The next videos are going to be on how to analyze that data. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.